Greetings, beautiful people. My name is Simon Javan Okelo. I am the CEO and founder of Madaraka Festival. I'm also the host of Madaraka Festival podcast. And today we are coming to you live and direct from the Seattle Drum School of Music here in Georgetown in Seattle, Washington. I'm really excited to bring this new season of the Madaraka Festival podcast to you. You know, over the last 6 months, I recorded quite a few episodes in Kenya. And then earlier this year, I was in Los Angeles, right after the Los Angeles fires, during the Grammy celebrations, and we were able to record almost 10 episodes on the sidelines of the Grammy. And today, I am honored to bring my wonderful sister, Tunu Malaika, who is an incredible leader here in the African community in the US, in Seattle to be specific, and also back in Tanzania. She was doing incredible work. She has spent some time in Kenya. And I'm really privileged that I'm working together with Tunu as the project manager for Madaraka Festival. Tunu, I want you to just take a moment and add anything to this introduction, something that would make you feel like you're properly introduced.
Thank you so much, Simon. I am truly honored to be working with you. I'm Tunu Makamula. From Tanzania originally, and I'm based in Washington, Seattle. I work as an event planner and coordinator, as well as a project manager this year for Madaraka Festival. I'm really thrilled to be part of this exciting experience that really takes us back to the feelings of being Africa and just meeting and seeing the vibe of back home, feelings that we grew up with. And this morning, I'm really thrilled to sit with you and chat about my story, my life. Yeah, thank you.
I love it. Well, I want you to take a moment and just reflect on some of the sounds, the food, the colors, the music that you grew up with in Tanzania that really inspire who you are today. You're one of the people that whenever I come across you, your energy is always exhilarating, your smile, you're always joyful. And I feel that who we are was really influenced by the things that we saw and the things that we were a part of when we were little, maybe when you were 10, 5. Take us back to those years.
Mm-hmm. Such an interesting question. You mentioning color. And just when you mentioned color, I was like comparing and contrasting where we are and how it truly is back at home. And I'll not say really Tanzania only, because I've been able to live in multiple countries back in Africa. And probably all of them have the same light and color compared to where we are right now. So yeah, growing up in mainly Tanzania, Arusha. I'm originally from Arusha. Born in Kilimanjaro, bred in Arusha. And yeah, growing up, it's just the community feeling in Africa altogether. Knowing, mama or your dad, your cousins, who you don't call cousins, you call them brother or sister, which is very different from how it is here. The sounds, I think early this year I went to Bellingham. And for the first time since I moved to the US, I heard the sound of a chicken. Of a croak.
Yeah,
I was so happy. And the person I was with was a lady from California. And she didn't understand why I was so happy to hear that. I was like, that sounds like home.
Yeah.
And it's not a common sound you hear here. So growing up to hear the chicken crow, is it a chicken?
The cock.
The cock crow. croak?
Yeah, the cock crowing.
Crowing, yeah, the cock crowing.
Yeah.
Seeing the sky, it feels like we have the sun throughout the year.
Yeah.
Until you come to the West where you see the 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Some people just don't know there's times of the year when the sun is not there.
Yeah.
We're so used to the sun. We're close to the equator, so we kind of have the sun almost throughout the year. And just the community around, which is the major thing that I grew up with. Having extended family come at home, and you don't even know these people don't stay here. You go to your aunt and you feel like this is home. You go to your uncles and you feel like this is home. So it's generally just growing around people, love, light. It really affects who you become. And I feel like I have grown up to really want to be light to others, to myself first, to others. So I think just growing up in that environment has shaped me to who I am today.
You know, when you're speaking about the colors of Arusha in comparison to Seattle, I think they're very similar. Arusha is green.
Greenery.
Yeah.
But the sky.
Yeah.
The sky affects the color of Seattle
Yeah.
tremendously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's always gray. It's always cloudy.
Yeah.
And back at home, it's not like that.
Yeah.
And then even on a cloudy day, yes, we have the greenery around. In Arusha, Mount Meru is like so giant.
Yeah.
Even when it's not a sunny day, the mountain is so blue and so out there. If you're going to Arusha through Arusha Airport, which most people come through Pier, the Kilimanjaro International Airport. If you're coming to Arusha through Arusha Airport, you miss everything, but not the mountain and how huge it stands. So even it's being there, even if it's not a sunny day, but you see that blue giant, it just makes you feel like, okay, there's color in the world. There's color in life.
Yeah.
Which is pretty different. Seattle is evergreen, truly green.
Yeah.
But you you easily miss the green when the sky is like gray the whole week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So when you speak about Arusha, Seattle, and then you think about your story, I feel that all of us Africans who are living here in America, we have our stories of how we ended up here. But I feel like your story not only begins in Tanzania, but it also begins in Nairobi, So I want you to share with us your journey, especially your career journey as an event planner and event organizer. Share with us where it all started. A lot of the time, when people think about me and Madaraka Festival, people always wonder, when did Simon start producing events? And for me, it was in high school.
Nice.
Yeah, in high school, people started calling me organizer because of how I was thinking about things, how I was moving, and people started doing things I was suggesting, I became very influential. I was not an official prefect or anything, but everybody was calling me organizer,
Yeah.
So from high school, I started producing events in and out of school.
Wow.
And in high school is when I started DJing, collecting music, selling and reproducing music to DJs in my hometown, And so for me, that's where it started. But I want to come back to you, I want to just learn a little more about where it all started for you, and also some of the most impactful events you've been involved with so far.
It's interesting that you talked about your being called an organizer in high school. So in both the schools I studied, I was a prefect. I mean, both schools in high school. But I think I was some leader in primary school. I forgot the name, and it was not these ordinary names. in my primary
Were you
school.
a bell ringer, timekeeper?
I wish. Not a timekeeper, certainly. In secondary and in secondary, which is in Tanzania, the system is a little bit different from how it is here, as well as in Kenya. So we have primary, then you go to O level. O level is from 1 to from 4, and then we have high school 5 and 6, and then you know, college or university. So when I say secondary, I mean both from 1 to from 6 all the way to high school. So both in from 1 to from 4, I went to a missionary school, and I was a social leader for 3 years of my studies there. And there I was in O level for 4 years. And then when I went to high school, I went to a school called Msalato, and I was a social leader as well. Not really, because I think I was just always very bubbly, and I can say I think it's the Leo in me. Like I can easily coordinate people, and they would listen and they would follow. And I am always like being a leader always comes so natural to me. Comes so natural. So I've always been boxed as the person who can socially gather people and, you know, do certain stuff. And that, I wouldn't say that is exactly what drew me into like events. But after I did my undergraduate in Diaspora University in Nairobi, and as soon as I finished, by second year, I decided I wanted to study in Nairobi. I was in a place, our main campus is in a place called Athi River. So in my second year, I decided I actually want to study in Nairobi. So I was looking for what will I be doing, because most times people who go to the campus in Nairobi would do evening classes because they're working in the morning. And I was not working, obviously. And so I started thinking, like, maybe I should look for a job during the day so that I can do evening classes. It was just a raw thought in my head. Yeah. Then I think on my third year, I moved to Nairobi, yes. I was doing my classes during the day. And then on my third year, I got a job at my country's embassy in Nairobi. It was 60 years of independence in Tanzania, and we were celebrating it in, like, you know, different countries. So in Nairobi, they were looking for Tanzanian students living in Nairobi, Daystar, Catholic University, USIU, who can be part of planning the Tanzanian independence celebration in Nairobi. So I joined that. And I worked there for some time organizing the event to the end, and I think I fell sick. I was not able to attend the event. Yeah, I fell sick and I went back home. And it was 9th December. I went back home. I saw the event online, but I knew a lot about it. I had been part of organizing it. And then after Daystar, after I finished school, I worked in different places. Then I went to South Africa to do an event management course in a college called Damelin. And there is when I feel like it opened my eyes on a lot of the plan. Because in your innocent head, you just think events just come up. Yeah. You don't know the whole background work that is put to realizing that vision. So when I went to Damelin, I saw the whole planning bit of events and just social gatherings and stuff. And after that, I got a job in a company called Africa Practice. And at Africa Practice is when I actually started practicing.
That's in South Africa?
No. I applied to Africa Practice in South Africa. I got an interview, but they were not hiring. They had an office, I think, based in Cape Town, but they were not hiring. So they told me whenever an opening comes up, we'll call you. So I finished school and went back to before I went back to Tanzania, I applied again in Kenya and Tanzania. Then just when I went to Tanzania, maybe 3 months or so, I was called for an interview in Tanzania. And I got the job. It's one of the companies that I really grew as a person, my career line, I really credit a lot of the things that I learned or I did at Africa Practice to who I am right now. Yeah, and there I worked I was a communication consultant for different companies, banks, telco companies, organizations, NGOs. And while at Africa Practice, we did a lot of events for telco companies like Vodacom, Safaricom, banks, Stanbic, organizations. That's where I worked with. Not Gates. It was Rockefeller Foundation. I would travel with them, go to different projects that they do, meet people, and it was the experience I had at Africa Practice that I knew. And most of the events that I did were very successful and would get good feedback. So since then, I knew I like this. And then, it's kind of rewarding when you successfully organize and execute someone's event or a company. The feedback, I feel like it's a job that you get rewarded when someone is at their highest, like they're happy, especially if the event was successful. So it came from that I knew I wanted to do events, and I would do different companies, events. I launched a couple of events with Kili Fair in Tanzania just before I moved to the US. And they were very successful. I was so happy. I did media relations. I did, coordinating vendors. I did, media communications of the projects.
Right.
So it was from that I knew I wanted to stay in this lane and grow in that.
Yeah. I love that. If you're just joining us for this episode of Madaraka Festival podcast, my name is Simon Javan Okelo. I am your host, and I'm here with my wonderful friend Tunu Malaika. Why do you not use Malaika? Why do you? Well, I know Makamula is the official name, but tell me about Malaika and why you're not using it.
It's not my formal name.
Got it.
That's the first one.
Yeah.
And I think it came from, my mother.
Okay.
And it's a very recent thing that my mom would call me. I think both my mom and I would say, Malaika, I'm Malaika, I'm Tunu Malaika, I'm Tunu Malaika. And my dad and I are very close. And my mom would refer that to me, that I'm our family is Malaika. Malaika means an angel.
Yes.
So my mom would always say it in a joking manner, she's our family's Malaika, in a joking way. So it has become so popular. Yeah. And I love using it. I really love it because it takes me back to my family. It reminds me of who I am, where I come from. And I love the fact that it always comes from my mother. But most places would call me that as a formal name, and it's not my formal name. So I always dodge from using it because it clouds people and they would think, oh, Tunu Malaika is her full name. And sometimes I shorten my surname and I would write Tunu M. And people assume the M is Malaika. Yeah. But it's not in my ID. Yeah. It's not really a formal name. But I am Tunu Makamula. I was baptized Tunu Mariana. So I have M as my second name in everything. So that's how I just swing.
Tunu M.
Exactly.
Okay, I get it.
M is an important character in my life.
Yeah, I see. Hey guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's one of the ways you can directly support Madaraka Festival and this channel. To continue with our conversation, I want you to now just paint a picture of how you learned about Madaraka Festival. And because you're now the project manager for Madaraka Festival, I also just want you to paint a picture for those who are joining us for today's conversation of what's in the works for August 30th, which is the next Madaraka Festival here in Seattle. So paint for us a picture. How did you learn about Madaraka Festival? How did you end up becoming the project manager? And then what's in the works? What have you been working on behind the scenes?
Yeah. So being here and, of course, homesick here and there, I began looking for events that are Africa related in Seattle. And I think because I kept searching for that a lot, usually AI picks up that you're searching for certain type of things. Then your profile popped up on my social media, and I was just curious. I was like, oh, I'm not following this person.
Who is this handsome guy?
Who's this handsome guy? I opened this handsome guy, and I saw you had a story talking about Madaraka.
Yeah.
And Madaraka is a Swahili word. So I understood what it was. So I clicked, and I started perusing through. I saw African artists, Kenyan artists. And, Kenya and Tanzania entertainment is almost like the same thing. We really support one another. Your music speaks to my country. My music speaks to your country. So when I saw the artist, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Then I followed you. And right away, it was in the middle of the night, I remember. It was probably 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I texted you on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I told you, I'm so interested. And I think you were talking about the event as well as looking for volunteers. So I texted you and I asked you, I think it was, last year. I told you I'm interested in volunteering to at the event. And then I think that same week we went to jump on a call, we talked, and it has been an attempt to work together for quite some time. But of course, with both of us here, everybody is always doing something or doing already committed to something. We attempted to work together last year, and then the event took place in Kenya, so I wasn't able to be part of. And earlier this year, we found a way to work together, which really works miraculously for both of us. And since then, it has been learning more and more about the event. I have been attending meetings with you, talking to sponsors, talking to partners that we want to work with, and learning so much more about the event that it's not just about that festival day. And that's incredible, because sometimes most events are just about that particular day and maybe a few things prior or after that, and that's it. And then you're planning for the next one. But getting to know about Madaraka, it was so interesting to learn that you started it after a certain period in Kenya, and how the event really united people. And that's the beauty of events. When you are in events, you don't really think, oh, who is this? Is this the same person? Is he from the same culture? Is he from the same tribe? So those things really interested me about Madaraka Festival. And now working with you, I'm learning so much more. And planning the event, just seeing how we are supporting one another, we're supporting artists, not necessarily the big, well-known artists, but just even upcoming talents, and the dynamic that we have in terms of our lineup. It's really rewarding to see that we're giving back to the culture, and I feel really privileged to be part of this. Yeah.
Thank you. What are some of the things for people who have never been to Madaraka Festival, or people who have been? What are some of the things that are most exciting for you that you want to share with your family, your friends, your community, that if they come, or when they come on August 30th at Pier 62, they will want to enjoy those specific things?
Yeah. First, it's to everybody who's thinking about coming to the event or have never attended the event, is the African culture is very welcoming. It's very embracing. It's very diverse. People would say, what language do you speak? I saw on social media someone saying, what African language do you speak? We have so many languages. Yeah. It's the same way how people think Africa is a country. It's not a country. It's a continent with 54 countries, but it's how we are so united. We are so similar. The love, the warmth any African person has is almost the same. So when you come to Madaraka Festival, and I really, really encourage people to come, because it's an opportunity to learn so much about so many things about our culture, the music, the food, the African artifacts that we have. So I would encourage, and I've recently invited some Chinese friends of mine and sent them the link. They live in Seattle, Alaskan way, so it's really easy.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the venue.
Yeah.
The Seattle, the waterfront is known to be the most trafficked walked destination during summer in the US. That was the demographic last year. So this year, that very place, it's really beautiful. Given the weather at that season, you just automatically you will feel the vibe, for lack of a better word, the vibe.
Yeah.
But there's so much in terms of African and Africa. East Africa, South Africa, West Africa, North Africa, the food, the entertainment, the clothing. We have vendors with different type of things coming to sell at the event. We have entertainment from east, west, south, and west, east, west, north, and south of Africa. So both in terms of our culture and all the dynamics that comes with the African culture, you will find that at Madaraka Festival. But also the artists. You know, one would think it's just Afrobeat, but we have so much more. And whether you're coming with the quest to experience the traditional aspect of the music and not Afrobeat, or the Afrobeat part of our music, you are likely to experience that and so much more. And we're also working with local, which are not really African artists, that it will be a surprise that we could accommodate such type of music, but it really reaches the younger population, and we want to really include everybody. So I'm really excited that people will have so much more to experience than just the regular African experience.
I love that. So do you feel that there's something that you want to share that I haven't asked? I know this is the first of many episodes that I'll be bringing you back on the show from time to time to share updates about Madaraka Festival. But for now, I just want you to speak about something that I haven't asked, because I'm about to ask you to look at this camera, this one, and say a few things. But for now, think about something that you want to say maybe in a moment, okay? So for now, I want you to look at this camera and tell everybody who's watching to subscribe to Madaraka Festival on YouTube. After that, I want you to also tell them to join us on August 30th at Pier 62 for the 11th anniversary of Madaraka Festival.
Yes.
This camera.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, Madaraka Festival, on YouTube, and follow our social media pages as well. And on August 30th, 2025, make sure to go online, get the ticket. If you're a vendor of any type, make sure to subscribe to join in as a vendor and be part of Madaraka Festival, where we're expecting to have more than 5,000 people attending the event and wanting to feel and experience the African experience.
Excellent. Anything else that you want to share with us before we wrap up?
Not really, but yeah, it's great that we are, as Africans, working to showcase our culture on this part of the world. And now that the world is more likely becoming a village, you know, we are bringing this experience happening in Seattle, but people from all over the U.S., in Canada, U.S., you're all welcome to get the ticket, come to the event, and we will not disappoint.
Excellent. Thank you all for joining me for today's conversation with Tunu. And we've talked a little bit about her upbringing. We've talked about her career as an event planner. We've talked about her experience across Africa. And then we talked about the work that she's doing with Madaraka Festival. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and see you on August 30th at Pier 62 for the 11th annual Madaraka Festival. Peace.